Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Business Point on Global Television, your hub for topical discussions in the world of business as we look into tech, innovation, government policies and all that. Today we're looking at navigating financial constraints in Nigeria. And we're also looking at strategies for businesses and individuals. I am your host, Queen Agaba. And as you know, Nigeria's economy has been facing significant financial challenges, from rising inflation to limited access to credit. These constraints have far-reaching implications for businesses, individuals, and households, making it difficult to achieve financial Many thanks for staying with us on the program. Like I said, we're looking at navigating financial constraints in Nigeria and also looking at strategies for businesses and individuals, knowing how Nigeria's economy has been facing significant financial challenges, from rising inflation to limited access to credit. These constraints have far-reaching implications for businesses and individuals as well as households, making it difficult to achieve financial stability. Our guest on the program, Mr. John Ochai, would help us explore the complexities of Nigeria's financial landscape as we discuss practical strategies for overcoming these challenges, from budgeting and expense management to smart investing and also leveraging technology. Many thanks for joining us on the program, Mr. John.
Good morning. Thank you for having me here.
It's always a pleasure to have you. Thank you. Well, let's look at some of the frequently asked questions, like the most significant financial challenges facing businesses and individuals in Nigeria today.
Once more, thank you for having me here, and it's a pleasure being here. We have a lot in our plan as far as the country economy is concerned, and basically, we have a lot of financial issues at the moment because the budget, the reducing expenses, and the increasing income, and the emerging debts that we have in our tool in the economy, these are one of the major issues that is crippling businesses in Nigeria, crippling firm in Nigeria, organization and individual, which is the household that we have. That is why we need to look at the nitty-gritty of what is in the system. How do we come out of this quagmire that we have find ourselves in it in the country? And one of the things that makes us to have this greater shock is as a result of the government come with a different policy, and that policy literally affects individual and the family because we are not prepared ahead of time, because we wouldn't know what will come. But when the President Bola Tinubu came into power, and he said the first statement was that the fuel subsidy were removed and everything skyrocketed, and then tightening the fiscal policy and the monetary policy. This adds these are one of the encumbrances that also add to the increments in and then increases in a lot of things within the economy. So business are not finding it easy. Households are not finding it easy. When you put those aggregations together, we know that yes, we have a lot at our pan. But one of the things haven't identified the selective issues that we are experiencing right now. What they could do to, cushion the effect is to create a budget that is visible, to reduce some expenses. Government and the businesses need to reduce their expenses. The household individual need to reduce their expenses. Then with a budget plan, and then of the income and expenditure, then set aside money regular for emergency. With this, we'll be able to mitigate the payables and other stuff that we have, in the system. If we can do that, then we'll be able to, find our ways around the tools that we use to, do our businesses and also add value to what we need in the system.
All right, but how do you think, businesses and even individuals can prioritize their expenses and also create a realistic budget in a financially constrained environment like Nigeria?
Okay. The financially constrained like Nigeria is not different from other world. I think Nigeria is even better than other clans. Nigeria is even better than other clans like Bangladesh, and I wouldn't want to mention name because this is an international global TV, so that it will not affect other nations. But Nigeria is, based on the case study, Nigeria is even better than other countries, like our neighboring country. They are not even, cannot be equated to Nigeria. But what we should do as a business, we can grow by increasing our market share, expanding into a new market, developing a new product, having the right strategy to depend on the strengths and then the resources we have and goals. Because one, if you know your strengths and you know your resources, and depending on your goal strategy, you can overcome. Because if you don't have enough and the borrowing power is reduced, all you need to do is to focus on the market where the business is already has a presence, and then use existing relationship and reputation to sell more and galvanize around those strengths that you have. Then you expose yourself to the potential, not the risk. So by building a cordial relationship, and then we have to diversify, because when one product is not working, you have to look at other products by diversifying and then reduce the dependency to the single market and begin to open your potential to other emerging markets. And by that, sending those products to such market, it will give the leadway innovation that will bring a different understanding to the level of expansion level of the diversification. Then one of the things that we need to do is that when we are expanding to a new market, we have to introduce a new product. Expanding to a new market, we have to introduce a new product, then reduce the independency of the single market, and then build a product line and tap into a new revenue stream. Because when we have a new revenue stream that will augment the existing revenue that we have based on the new market that we have tapped into, automatically to mitigate the stretch for the company on the household. Then if you will focus our attention towards one single source of stream of income, it will become so difficult. Then you have to look at different measures of the stream of income and then begin to collaborate with other businesses and leverage on other business strengths and resources to open up new opportunity for growth expansion.
Budgeting mistakes, some of the common budgeting mistakes that people make, and also how can they be avoided?
You see, the reason why we always make such mistakes is because Nigeria, we like bogus spending based on our taste. I think we need to quench some certain tastes that we have. So if your measure or your strength could not be able to afford the taste you have to also look at you have to look at other alternatives and then focus on those alternatives that can also provide the same measure for that taste that you have. For instance, now let's use an example. If a company is looking towards to acquiring let's say Toyota SUV, and it could not able to afford it with 100 million, they should look at a Changan product which can be afforded for, let's say, 30-35 million, that can provide the same mobility that will aid the movement of the business. For instance, if you have you want to acquire other business that has the potential, and putting the way the two different, and they will bring the same value. One is measured for 70 million and another one is measured for, let's say, 50 million. Instead of, when you have assessed the risk factors on those potentials of those businesses and then they have the same value, you have to opt out from the 70 million and focus your attention to the 50 million, I will give you the same value. But Nigeria, we like ostentatious goods, whereby a company would like to travel when it is not necessary. With the aid of communication as it is now, before we used to fly to China to have meetings with other government, other top officials of the company. But when you realize that flying to China will accumulate a lot of expenses, all you could do, you could, communicate just the way I'm communicating with you, straying into the matter that we are discussing. I'm supposed to drive down to your television station, and because of the CJC, I couldn't meet up to your television station. I have to speak through Zoom. And these are things, by the time you speak with other top management official in China, or any other where I'm supposed to fly China, or any other where I'm supposed to fly, paying huge amount of money on the airfare, when those costs are also reduced, what happened? I have saved a lot for the company. And these are things that people need to do, and those business manager need to look at way to cut cost of the company, because the way we are in the country right now is there is no free lunch in even a free town anymore, because most of the things that we usually do to get free money is not like that again. So what we should do as a people, as a company, as an individual, we should look at what we can afford to pay for, not what we pay for, and then we plunge ourselves into borrowing to mitigate that. And when we'll be able to do that, we'll be able to cut all the necessary expenditure that we are unable to run away from.
Many thanks for your contribution on that question. But like you mentioned, that funding and also access to funding can also be a challenge for businesses and also individuals. But how is it possible for individuals, businesses, or households to improve their chances of securing funding from banks and other financial institutions?
One of the problems we have within the country, when you look at the monetary policy and then the interest rates from the Apex Bank, now make it difficult for borrowing power to reduce. And then we have to look at the different companies. There are already existing companies who are made in the industry as a player, and there are new companies emerging, and then they don't have enough resources, which they are trying to also expand their businesses. I think one of the things that we need to look at, those new business can tap into, borrowing from friends and relatives to, expand their business. Because when a new business emerge and you quickly run to bank to borrow based on the high interest rate as it is now, it's as if you are telling the bank to take over your business in the long run. But those businesses that are already made, those top players in the market, because of the conglomerate and the diversification they have made so far and the relationship they have made, they can raise some funds from the financial market, such as bond, SPV, that is special vehicle, and other model that the interest rate will not be as high as the direct borrowing from the commercial bank. So I think these are the two differences that we need to look at as the strategy. So the top player can streamline, and they can also sell their assets or sell their share to raise more money and then plug back into the business. But the new emerging business may not have that capacity because they don't have such kind of strategy. So what they would do from those two perspectives of business that I have mentioned, the top player don't have such a problem as such, because they can, dilute their shares and then plug the money back into the system to, embark on their business goal for the year 2025. And while the new emerging business, based on the strategies, they should look at friend and then look at partnership and venture to ensure that, yes, the business will, stand firm as expected of them.
ask you this one last question, and in 1 minute, I just expect you to give me an answer, like in a minute. You'd agree with me that investment is one of the ways to wealth creation for businesses and even individuals. But can you take us through or walk us through some of the investment opportunities that are available for businesses in Nigeria, and how can they be accessed?
Okay. There are so many investments, but when you talk about investment, we have to also understand the need of those investments. Because when you talk about investment and you don't understand the need of those investments, then it become an encumbrance on the investment, because we have IRR, and then we have to mitigate the risks that is involved in those investments. These are all accessible, and then that is why we need a risk manager who need to know the risks of those investments and then look at the potentials of those investments, because there are some investment rating that are triple A, triple B, and then C. And then those are the determinant factor whether if your investment is safe. When it's triple A is safe, when it's triple B it's a little bit safe, when it is C you are not sure either to lose the value that you are investing or to gain what you are investing. And that is why we need a risk manager who have the understanding to study those investment portfolio before they will be able to invest. And then we have passive investors. At the end of the day, what that means is that we have government guaranteed and we have non-government guaranteed. The government guarantee are short investment, which doesn't bring much yield into the system, but is safe because the government guaranteed such investment, such as a treasury bill. We have commercial paper, we have promissory notes, and so on and so forth. And then we have a long run to SPV vehicle bond. Bond can be a long-term investment that can also have a lower potentials of risk and then have a higher yield in the long run. You can have a tenor of, let's say, 3 to 4 to 5 years, and then your value of the investment is there, but the interest rate is hovering between 17.5 to 18, depends on the negotiable term on those participants in the prospective. With that, just the way I have said, when you assess the market, look at the potentials of the risk, and the risk manager will look at those encumbrances that surround it. They will not determine which one is more or less of investing in. Then they are disposal to determine which one they will invest in.
Thank you very much, Mr. John Ochaye. Hopefully, we get to have you again on the program to walk us through some of these, investment opportunities and platforms. Many thanks for joining us on the program. That's how much we can take. Do enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much.